Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podium of the Nevis Reformation Party, the party of peace, the party of progress, and the party of prosperity, the party of Daniels and Evelyn's. Roosevelt Skerrit, come give us the feature address.
Well, I think that the Premier must be very concerned about his position, having the likes of Sazam within the midst of the Nevis Reformation Party. What great energy you have here this evening, brothers and sisters.
Thank you.
What great solidarity which you present to your leader and the membership of the NRP. I sense in Nevis today, as a Calypsonian red plastic bag would say, something's happening. And it is so exciting. Esteemed Premier of Nevis and President of the Nevis Reformation Party, Honourable Joseph Parry, Ministers in the Nevis Island Administration, officers of the Nevis Reformation Party, distinguished guests, members, friends, and well-wishers of the NRP, brothers and sisters all, good evening. One of the fundamentals I have learned over the years in addressing conventions such as this is that, notwithstanding the rousing welcome, the audience is split emotionally. Yes, they want to hear the guest speaker, but more importantly, they are chomping at the bit to hear their esteemed leader, especially if that leader is as popular and well-liked as Joseph Parry is. So let me assure you from the outset that I am mindful of this reality and will not abuse the privilege afforded me to be in your company by staying too long at this podium. Brothers and sisters of the Nevis Reformation Party, when I accepted the Premier's invitation to address you this evening, I envisaged an audience such as this. A grouping of Nevisians drawn from all social and economic backgrounds, gathering to reflect upon and energized to chart a path forward for the beautiful island home. I was particularly pleased when I was told that a large representation of overseas-based Nevisians would be in attendance this evening. I have always contended that while circumstances may have necessitated the need for our brothers and sisters to venture abroad to secure a livelihood for themselves and their families, they have been and remain an integral part of our socio-cultural makeup. At home in Dominica, I have insisted that returning nationals be accorded all the rights and privileges of resident Dominicans, including full access to affordable but high-quality education, housing, and healthcare, as well as the opportunity to help elect the government of their choosing. Ladies and gentlemen, over time, we have come to accept something unique about our Caribbean people. They may venture to the far corners of the earth and remain there for decades, but when all is said and done, what is important is that they view themselves as having and boldly proclaim to others an umbilical connection to the land of their birth. And I heard it this evening from our reps from all over, speaking as if they were living right there in Nevis. It's a common saying in Dominica, and I'm sure it applies to you here as well, when I say you can take Nevisians out of Nevis, but no one should ever condone shutting Nevis away from Nevisians. That's right. Home is for us, and it is home for them as well. Our nationals in the diaspora have paid their dues and must be invited to participate and be part of the society they, by choice, have chosen to love and nurture. Many have the option of turning their backs on their native land. They are successful and well appreciated in the adopted country, but yet they make it not only a duty, but a treat to regularly return to their birthplace, as well as facilitate the advancement of family and friends through avenues other than financial remittances. Like many of you, I have kept informed of the U.S. presidential debate for various reasons, but mainly to capture subtle social lessons that a campaign trail might expose. One of which aroused my curiosity about the current U.S. Vice President, Mr. Joe Biden, was when the story was told of him working in Washington for years and journeying back home to Delaware every weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, I admire that. I have reflected on this for some time, and I'm wondering, brothers and sisters of Nevis, whether the time has not come for us in the Caribbean to amend relevant regulations, legislations, and practices to permit overseas-based residents to serve at the highest level of management and national decision-making in their native land. There are many other similar stories of business executives and even legislators in Europe and the United States of America. These professionals travel thousands of miles per week to execute their work, but they return to their residence of choice at frequent intervals, even weekly. Why can't we in the Caribbean remove the barriers that currently prevent an outstanding citizen of any of these islands from serving in the legislature of these islands, even if only for a short period? I can see them not serving as elected representatives for reason of their frequent absence from the country and inability to serve the needs of their constituents. But why shouldn't they be eligible to be encouraged to serve in the Parliament as nominated member, particularly if they bring an expertise or perspective that is not readily available on the island? For example, a Dominican was just elected Director General of the Pan-American Health Organization, headquartered in Washington, and serving the needs of scores of countries around the hemisphere. Don't you think she would be an ideal candidate to visit Dominica once a month or once every 2 months, as the case may be, and articulate a vision and a concept for healthcare administration and development on Dominica? The same applies to the Secretary General of CARICOM, who is also a Dominican. Who is better to speak to issues of regional integration in forums that matter in Dominica? Like Dominica, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis has produced several outstanding global citizens who have made and continue to make invaluable contributions to the development of the adopted countries and regions. Why can't we be progressive enough in our outlook to, rather than stymie their participation in our political life, invite and encourage them to return home ever so often and share a perspective on options and opportunities, as well as pitfalls and danger signs? Ladies and gentlemen, our Caribbean islands are undergoing fiscal and economic challenges unprecedented in the lifespan of many. Why should we shut our compatriots who can shut out our compatriots who can assist? Why should an Antiguan, for example, resident and holding citizenship in the United States of America, by virtue of time and tenure there, have to give up that citizenship in order to return to Antigua for a period of time to lend of his knowledge and expertise, especially if he or she is universally acknowledged as an authority on the subject? Tonight, I would wish to jumpstart the discussion here in Nevis in the hope that it can engulf the region at some point. In the Caribbean today, we must be bold enough to say to a national who is a recognized expert in his field to come home for 3 or so years and serve as a senator or nominated member of parliament and lend of their wisdom and guidance to a particular issue or undertaking. What is wrong with our doing that, my dear brothers and sisters? Why must we continue the cycle of others spotting and exploiting the talents and abilities of our own before we do? Whenever I travel across Europe and the United States, I can hear of some Caribbean person who did this and who did that, who invented this and who invented that, who conceptualized and masterminded this and who conceptualized and masterminded that. But yet in the Caribbean, we erect all sorts of artificial barriers to prevent them from contributing meaningfully to the development of their native land. We cannot continue paying less qualified and gifted persons, oftentimes working as juniors to our own compatriots, an awesome sum to come to the Caribbean and serve as so-called consultants. What is worse is that many of these consultants do not know one single thing about our history, our practices, or our way of life here in the Caribbean. We have to start embracing our own. Something is broken about this mindset, and we need to fix it, and fix it soon. Those of us in a position to effect change for the better must change for the better. In this social and economic environment in which we live, we should not just mark time and toe the line. The consequences of such foot dragging will be enormous to our economies and societies here in the region. This is a matter that I feel very passionate about and which I intend to raise with my colleagues in CARICOM at the earliest opportunity. Surely, I will seek to persuade my parliamentary colleagues in Dominica to let us start the ball rolling by reviewing existing practices and regulations. So, members and supporters of the Nevis Reformation Party, I am truly pleased with what I see here this evening. Young people are dear to my heart, and it is inspiring to see so many of you here this evening. I am particularly pleased with the number of young men in attendance, men who are not afraid to identify with and take an active role in the political development of their country. I am pleased that you have taken such a stance. You refuse to be counted among those sitting on the fence and promulgating this notion that politics and a keen interest in the political development of the country is not for them. I have 2 questions for those who fit this category. If it is not for you, then who is it for? And if you do not wish to get involved and help influence decisions, why object and agitate when things do not go your way? In the past, it was said that a people got the government they deserve. Today, I would wish to modify that by suggesting that people receive the governance they permit. Young people in Nevis and the wider Caribbean must bring an end to this nonsense of sitting on the fence and allowing life to pass them by. I agree that not everyone is cut out for running for office and serving in the legislature, but every citizen can have an opinion and can step forward and offer to assist in whatever way practical with the democratization of the decision-making process. Never mind that politics in the Caribbean today may not be what you wish. We as young people must take responsibility for what it becomes tomorrow. For we have a golden opportunity today to get involved and shape its course henceforth. So I bring you greetings this evening from the Dominica Labour Party, the party which I have the honor to lead, and the party which has 18 out of 21 seats in the Parliament of Dominica. and who, like I believe Mr. Daniel, his leadership has been embroiled in court cases from 2009. Although we may not be a historical ally of the Nevis Reformation Party, our two parties are in office at a crucial time in our country's and region's development. We have a duty to our people and to our evolving civilization to take keen interest in each other's experiences. History will record us as failures if we shook from this responsibility. Brothers and sisters, a mistake was made by not allotting me a specific time on the podium, but I will not exploit this slip-up on this occasion. I admire very much the work of your esteemed Premier in broadening the scope and outlook of Nevis at the regional and sub-regional level. You have a man in Joseph Parry you should be proud of, and you should hold dear to your heart. I am impressed with the phenomenal development I see taking place on Nevis. I wish you, Mr. Premier, continued success in your endeavors. I want to wish you a successful convention and continued progress in your efforts to develop this beautiful island, which continues to be a mystery and envy to many. You have in Nevis a lot to be proud of. And it's a matter for you to let the world know of what you're proud of. Because too often, we as citizens, we speak of what is not happening or what should be happening rather than what is actually happening or what has actually happened. And we must continue to be positive and think positively of ourselves and think positively of our leadership and think positively of our country. I want to thank you profusely for inviting me to speak to you, and I will take home this vibrancy that the Nevis Reformation Party has, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Mr. Premier, I wish you God's blessings and guidance as you continue to lead this country into greater development and prosperity. Thank you. God bless you.